June was a crazy month. Blue Protocol just launched in Japan, and we all had a blast playing it. Until the Fire Nation until the ban waves were sent out. With this in mind, we've all been on the lookout for something new, right? Something fun to potentially play, to waste our time in, until the Korean or the Chinese versions launch in the next couple months and allow for us to play them, and I might have you covered. If you enjoy staying up to date with new MMOs that are releasing, and more specifically this series, make sure to like the video, leave a comment telling me what MMO you're most looking forward to, subscribe to the channel, and hit that little bell notification. Oh, and make sure to check out the last episode in this series at the end of this video in case you missed out on an MMO last month. Before we discuss what's releasing this month, though, allow me to thank our incredible patrons over on Patreon. Your guys' support is why I can continue to make videos like this every month, and I deeply appreciate you all being there for me. Also, if you have a moment, consider following me over on Twitch. I stream new MMOs there almost every weekend. Now, let's go ahead, jump in, and see if we can't find something that you and I can waste the next month in. If you enjoyed the Pokemon-inspired MMO Temtem, which is arguably one of the only MMOs of its kind, you might be happy to know that they've successfully spun the game off into something entirely separate to the main Temtem game in the form of Temtem Showdown. In Temtem Showdown, you'll be able to fully customize your team without the need to actively seek out and capture the Temtem in question, also without any need to actually level them or min-max them. You'll have direct access to every Temtem in the game and will engage other players in a variety of different PvP game modes. Interestingly, Temtem is a buy-to-play MMO requiring a premium purchase. However, that does not seem to be the case for Showdown. Also worth noting, Showdown strips the game of many of its MMO features, making this more of a single-focus PvP game that tends to be either 1v1, 1v2, or 2v2. It is also fully accessible right now, having just launched, and has been pretty positively received thus far. Scars of Honor is a new free-to-play 3D high fantasy MMORPG currently in development for PC, featuring dungeons, raids, player housing, PvP, and a number of other features typically found in traditional MMOs. The game has been in active development for a while now and is holding their first public alpha test beginning on July 3rd and running through July 14th. I have a dedicated video coming on this, going over every single thing that we know about the game, so I urge you to be on the lookout for that. And if you're interested, check it out. But this is a full-fledged MMORPG. This doesn't seem to be a quick cash grab or an MMO that won't ever launch. It seems to be a passion project from a talented studio comprised of over 50 people. The alpha test is going to feature a number of systems in place that will undergo significant changes over time, such as the combat animations, graphics. This is an alpha test, not a beta test, so it's best to set some realistic expectations. You'll have almost 2 whole weeks to play test the game, beginning July 3rd, so I wouldn't miss out on this opportunity. X Legend is known for creating some pretty good quality MMOs. Eden Eternal, Grand Fantasia. Yeah, that's about it. And more recently though, Aura Kingdom and Twin Saga, neither of which were remotely as close in terms of quality to their MMOs from the early to late 2000s. Nevertheless, in spite of their continued decline, they're going in all or nothing with a brand new dragon taming MMORPG called Tales of Dragon. I know, very original name. In Tales of Dragon, you'll capture dragons. Yeah, that's what you do, you capture dragons. And these dragons can be used like Pokemon, as mounts or as battle slaves. You can also get married, presumably not to the dragons, unless they're like Alexstrasza, in which case, hello, Dragon Mommy. You'll also be able to play dress up, again, presumably not with your dragons. Although, gotta be honest here, if you could dress up Alexstrasza, I'm sure WoW's subscription numbers would probably quadruple overnight. From what I can see, it looks as though it is a pretty basic MMO. It's also only for Android and iOS. Yes, X Legend have officially given up on trying to make a good quality PC MMO, and instead are opting to go for the cheap mobile MMO route. The game entered pre-registration with a launch coming, in theory, this month. Fractured Online has a very troubled history. When I played the beta years ago, I thought that it was quirky, it was clunky, but it was still kind of fun. Then Gamigo acquired rights to publish it and everything went to crap. Fast forward a year or two later, Gamigo have given up publishing rights and the game is back in the hands of the original devs for better or for worse. With this in mind, the devs have confirmed that beginning June 29th, the buy-to-play MMO is going to be completely free-to-play, allowing each and every interested player the opportunity to play the game without purchase. The test phase only lasts several days, however, meaning you'll only have access until July 2nd. I know this isn't a whole lot of time to fully test the game out, but hey, it's better than buying the game and then realizing that you dislike it. I genuinely cannot recall when I last played Lunia online. It was an MMO that released decades ago, I think, and was popular back around the same time that Rose Online, Luna Online, Eden Eternal, and Grand Fantasia were all popular, but it ended up shutting down, much like the majority of anime MMOs from the 2000s, and is still talked about today. Imagine my surprise when I saw that Lunia was coming back under the brand new moniker, Lunia Z Revival. This will be a chance for players to relive what made Lunia great. Or at the very least, that's what you'd imagine. The reality is that they're re-releasing the game in an active effort to milk nostalgia from players, and it'll be a pay-to-win mess. Which makes sense, as this is Velof we're talking about here. Nevertheless, for interested players, the game is going to be available for closed beta testing beginning July 12th, with applications currently open. And finally, I want to take a moment to talk about Dawnlands. I received an email from the devs earlier this month asking if I wanted to take a sponsored look at the game. After I gave them my usual price, they stated that they didn't have that kind of budget, so they turned down the partnership. But not before confirming that the game was going to be entering a test phase this month, and also claiming that the game is an MMO. I navigated on over to their Steam page, and I noticed that nowhere does it actually state the game is an MMO. Rather, it seems to be a larger scale multiplayer survival RPG, which is actually very difficult to mix up and a contrastingly different type of game. But this is a way that Asian and indie devs seem to sucker people in these days. While Dawnlands isn't an MMO, I'm going to state that right out the gate here, it is a pretty solid looking anime game that many players might enjoy. Admittedly, it does have some pretty slow combat from what we've witnessed during this test phase, but they have plenty of time to remedy that. Well, in theory. This game is actually launching fully this year in 2023, so maybe not. Either way, if you're interested, you can go ahead and try the game out right now, free of charge. You still have time before this test phase ends. And that is everything. All of the MMOs slated to release either fully or into some form of test phase this month, at least that I'm aware of. I probably missed one or two. That's bound to happen with more obscure titles. Nevertheless, these are the main games that I have been following. This isn't all there is to look forward to though, because if none of those games look like games that you would be interested in, I urge you to check out one of these two videos on screen right now. I'm sure you'll find something that you'll enjoy. Trust me, we have a promising looking second half of the year coming.